God's will for me is perfect happiness, and I share God's will for happiness for me. Obviously, right? Obviously, I want to be happy. You want to be happy? I want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? Oh man, we just want to be happy. Okay, we're done with this one. Good night. I mean, come on. In this sense of recognizing, yes, I want to be happy. But we don't always recognize I have absolutely no clue on how to be happy. I have no idea how to achieve, how to overcome, or whatever to get to be happiness. I have no idea what it takes. Right? I mean, yes, we have a clue. But how often do we just, I mean, even if we've done this course for 20 years, okay, and yet we get upset, we get depressed, we get crazy, we get all over the place, thinking we understand it, thinking we know how to be happy, even in that very moment when these emotions seem to be arising and taking over and planting seeds and growing trees of fruit of depression. God's will is perfect happiness for me, and I can suffer, but from the belief there is another will apart from His. This happens all the time. I mean, we have to just recognize to say there is a will other than God's. It's like, wait a second. Where can I point out where God's will is? Somewhere around there. It's kind of a recognition that you cannot stray from God's will. It's not necessarily that you absolutely know for a fact that it is God's will, or that you know for sure about what you're doing, okay? It's about a certainty that naturally comes from knowing that there is only God's will. So it's not a matter of question, ooh, should I do this or should I do that? It's, you already know what you should do because there is only God's will. You already know what there is to do. And yet so often spiritual people get all caught up in thinking, oh, yes, I need to follow guidance, as if there is something else. And that's okay, because through the journey, through the process of trying to figure out what it is and tuning yourself to it, you'll see that, yeah, okay, there's things I don't like and there's things I do like about what I can be and what I can do, Devin. So how can you tell me that there is no right or wrong about this? No, okay, there's no right or wrong about God's will. There is a right or wrong about how you discern and judge what God's will is. Yes, you are discerning and judging and defining what God's will is with this thing that we call the knowledge of good and evil. You're corrupted. Yeah, you're corrupted. The knowledge of good and evil is quite literally the knowledge of God's will and other wills. And the fact that every difficulty that you have has to do with something of the fact of, say, someone doing something you don't want to be done. Oh, it's like, and how many cults are ran with the sense of, I am God's will, and if you stray from God's will, and if you do anything that you want to do and that I don't want you to do, then you're out of God's will. Instead of recognizing quite literally, let's just say, the universe's will. Okay, the universe's will. What is the universe's will? Every will that there is. There is no will outside of the will of the universe. So yes, while you're corrupted perspective believes that these are all separate things, then you're going to see separate wills, even your own. Right? Until you recognize that there is only one will, you can't really surrender that hindrance, that holding back, that struggle within yourself. Is this God's will? It's usually just more like, but what about me? What about me? I want this. Now, it might not be that obvious, but pretty much anytime we're upset at all, we're throwing a little temper tantrum of being a child again, right? How can there be another will? How can there be another option? What do you mean? You don't want everything I want. What do you mean you don't do everything I want to be done? What do you mean you want to do something else? What is going on? So yes, this is more about this idea and concept of free will than it is about happiness, honestly. But the happiness is a natural thing when you recognize you and everyone is a natural will of the entirety of the universe. Say, that will of God.